All right, class, let's get going with French Revolution. This is our board number 2. Essential question, how did the French Revolution change society? Creation of the Constitution, 1790. It was created a national church. It helped to create a national church. 83 bishops and dioceses. And it also, these 83 national church is also, the entire country was divided up into like provinces or counties. Huge mistake to try to control the church. Clergy forced to take a loyalty oath to the new government, which then deeply divided the French. France becomes a constitutional monarchy with a unicameral legislative assembly. Nobility was abolished, and half of males over the 25 was able to vote. So there was a lot of changes going on. The metric system was adopted. You know, we still don't have the metric system. Assignats became a new paper currency. So there were a lot of things changing in France during this revolution. Now, flight to Varnes, June of 1791, King Louis XVI tried to flee France with his family. He knew that he was in trouble. He tried to sneak out the back door with his family, tried to flee to the east and get foreign powers to provide an army with the help of some nobles from France. They were captured, then taken prisoner and taken back to Paris. The king was forced to accept the constitutional monarchy. So as he's riding away in his carriage, he would come to different checkpoints before he got into what is present-day Germany or Austria. As he was fleeing to the east, comes to one of these checkpoints, and although he and his family were dressed in different clothing that made them look like commoners, they were in the royal carriage, so it wasn't too hard to spot them. International reaction to all of this French Revolution. Edmund Burke of England defended the king, whereas Thomas Paine of the United States defended the Enlightenment ideals and the idea of revolution. Now, the Legislative Assembly, 1791 and 92, two groups emerged, the Jacobians and the Huronians. And the Gironians? I don't even say that word, but it's coming up more, so I got to learn it. The Jacobians, named after their political club, and they dominated the assembly. Girondinians left. They were a left group of the Jacobians, the Jacobs, that would lead the country into war. War was a main issue during this time. The nobles from France tried to get other countries to attack and restore the monarchy. So the nobles who were aligned with the king and the royalists obviously didn't want things to change, and so they actually tried to get foreign powers to come and attack France and change things back. Austria's Emperor Leopold expresses an interest, but France declares war by the Legislative Assembly. April 1792, French forces soundly defeated by the Austrians. So at first, the French were not very powerful. The Brunswick Manifesto, July 1792, Prussia and Austria will destroy Paris if the royal family is harmed. And you have to remember that Marie Antoinette was from Austria. So if she's going to get her head chopped off or the royal family killed, the people in Austria are not going to be very happy. Robespierre, Danton, and Marat get people fired up about the king in enlisting foreign powers. So then they take the royal family like prisoner and actually put them in jail. So before they were like under house arrest. Robespierre and especially Marat get people fired up through the writings, the newspapers, and they actually think that the king is now like a traitor getting foreigners to try to take over the kingdom. This was the beginning of the Second Revolution. Now, the Paris Commune, revolutionary government set up in Paris that they essentially take over. Their power is actually more powerful than the Legislative Assembly. A new constitution is actually suspended. Rumors that nobles and priests were plotting with foreigners prompted the slaughter over 1,000 people. So these nobles, aristocracy, priests, it was rumored that they were working with these foreign powers as well. Kill them all. And so they just started killing people. The Age of Rousseau, 92 to 99. France proclaimed a republic in 1792. They abolished the monarchy. So that was pretty huge. Based ideas on equality, liberty, and fraternity. Jacobians, the Mountain, Danton and Robespierre they actually sat up higher in the Legislative Assembly, and that is why they're called the Mountain, because they were up higher like they're on the mountain. Girondinians, they were more moderate, but this mountain group, they were pretty powerful. The Sans-Culottes were a working class people. They were very influential, and they were also very radical. So when they started getting things in their mind, they got a frenzy of people worked up. They were the ones that essentially stormed the Bastille, or the women that went and took over the Palace of Versailles. You had revolutionary armies gain victories over Austria and Prussia. So Britain, Holland, Spain declare war on France. King Louis XVI, convicted of treason and off with his head. So this was not a good time for the monarchy. The Mountain Group supported a radical Sans-Culottes, and they take over the National Convention. The Committee of Public Safety, 93 to 94, led by Robespierre, to deal with all the challenges. He planned out the economy to try to make things better, help food shortages, and he socialized government. So this was kind of the beginning of socialism in France, but it was not very successful. Entire nation was conscripted into service as war defined the national mission, and they built the army to over 1 million men. So this war that had now taken over the mission of the entire nation is also taking most of the men. Now, the Reign of Terror from 93 to 94, enemies of the revolution were brought to the guillotine and beheaded. So even if you were thought to be against the revolution, or if you were in any way associated with the royalty, off with your head. The king and his wife beheaded, as well as over 40,000 people. No one was safe. People told on each other. And then they'd just drag you out to the town square. There'd be a guillotine. They'd chop your head off, and off with the day's events. Leaders from the Mountain, Danton and Robespierre, they are actually, the whole revolution turns against them, and they get executed. The Thermidorian reaction of 1794 actually ended this Reign of Terror, ended with Robespierre getting his head chopped off. Then we started the Directory. It was more of a peaceful time from 95 to 99. New Constitution in 1795 set up a Republican government, which was good because they had so much chaos before. Middle class controlled the government. It ended the Sans-Culottes, craziness of running around and being mob mentality. The Royalist uprising was put down with the help of military. The Directory, which is now what it's called, was then dependent on the military. And lo and behold, who was part of that military? Napoleon Bonaparte. Growing inflation, mass public dissatisfaction that led to the fall of the Directory. So while the Directory did bring some order to the chaos of the French Revolution, it was not perfect. Elections in 1797 was in favor of the Royalist, but the Directory had it annulled. Military successes allowed the Directory to remain in power. You had successes such as the Battle of the Pyramids down in Egypt. The French defeat the British in 1798. Once again, Napoleon Bonaparte there taking a role in that. A conspiracy to overthrow the Directory forms, and Napoleon joins. So the Directory is on the downfall. Coup d'etat takes place in November of 1799. Napoleon drives the legislators from the assembly. And once he drives them out, who are they looking for as leadership? Of course, Napoleon Bonaparte. And that's what we'll look at next. Remember, history's no mystery. Take good notes.